Any law officer in the territory would have given his eye teeth to capture Hemp Reeger. But strange as it seems, though, he was finally brought into us by a tough old coot of a dry farmer who found him asleep in his barn. Reeger had hijacked a shipment of silver bullion. My partner, George Romack, had been trailing him for 3 days before he was unlucky enough to catch up with him. Reeger shot Romack's horse. He fell on George and broke his shoulder in 3 places. Yeah, $2,000 is a lot of money for a dry farmer.
No, ain't that rich. Now, you know that sodbuster had to be hungry to take a chance on bringing me in.
You're going to serve a useful purpose for a change, Reeger. He's all yours, Jim. You keep an eye on him. He's as slippery as an eel.
I'll sure watch him, Mr. Smith.
Don't worry about a thing, Smitty. I'll babysit with Reeger myself.
Oh, no, you won't. You're going straight home, just like the doc said.
Ooh, anything you say, partner.
Hemp Reeger had been famous for some time for breaking jail. And so far, we hadn't done much to harm his reputation. He had taken that shipment of silver bullion in Granite Pass above Galeyville. He couldn't have carried it far, so I thought it was a good bet he'd be heading back that way. Galeyville was just a wide spot in the road where miners came for supplies. I hadn't been there in years, so Sheriff Sam Akins was new to me.
Hemp Reeger. So not even you fancy Denver lawmen could hold him either.
I hadn't figured it was all that funny.
I guess you've never been a small-town sheriff, Smith. What do you want out of me?
Well, I just wondered if you had any reports of strangers riding through here the last few hours.
Saw no one. Had no reports either.
All right, Sam. Here's your... Well, afternoon.
Ma'am?
Oh, don't leave on my account.
Put the tray down, Flo. There's not a thing I can do for you, Smith. Hemp Reeger is not my concern. If he was, I'd get that $2,000 reward for myself.
Yeah.
Smith? From Denver? You whispering, Smith?
Well, that's what they call me.
I'm Flo. Flo Nichols. I work in a silver bar across the street. Surely you're not going to leave town without a bite to eat.
The man's got to be on his way.
I got to be going.
First saddle buster that hits town.
Yeah. And it makes your blood boil, doesn't it? Well, he's different from you. He's a real man. He goes after someone important with a reward on his head. And what do? Pick up a few drunks on a Saturday night and sit here on your holster. All right, go ahead and hit me. Hit me. Make me good and mad so I can walk out once and for all.
I could see why Sheriff Akins wasn't concerned with Hemp Reeger. But Reeger made me wait 2 whole days before I caught sight of him. Reeger set himself with his rifle trained down that pass. Could have held off a small army. There was only one way to get at him. I was weary to the bone. Even Galeyville would look good, but it was still another day's ride.
Don't you dare go to bed, 'cause you sleep, little doggy, I will shoot you through the head. Don't you sleep, little doggy, don't you dare go to bed. Don't you sleep, little doggy, there's a long ride ahead. Don't you...
Reeger, you know how to whistle?
No, not very well.
You don't sing so good either.
Well, I'll tell you something, Smith. I just want to make sure you don't go to sleep. Because if you do, when you wake up, you know I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Mr. Smith. And congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I was just passing by.
You get out of here. Get.
And missing Whispering Smith again?
I hate to bother you again, Sheriff, but I've just got to put him up one night.
Oh, Sam will be happy to accommodate you.
You figure I'm smart enough to hold him one night?
I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, Sheriff, you don't want to keep me in a crummy place like this. Come on, let me go. Smith here, he likes for me to escape. Makes him such a big man when he catches me again.
You certainly stirred up the whole town.
I think I'll stir up about 10 hours sleep right now. Look, I don't have to warn you.
No, you don't. I'm not sheriff for nothing. I'll take care of your prisoner.
Did you find the silver he stole?
No, ma'am. We'll have to search for that later.
$2,000 on his head? That? Don't hardly look worth it to me.
Sometimes it's hard to say which man's worth what.
I'll get a bite to eat, and then I'll be asleep, if you need me.
If I need you.
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Smith. I'll walk you over.
Don't you try any of your tricks on me, Reeger. Prisoners don't escape from my jail.
Guys like you, Sheriff, the masterful, determined ones, they're the easiest. You wait, you'll see.
Excuse me, you look like a kindly and prosperous-looking gentleman. Could you brighten the corner of life for a worthy traveler who has been temporarily handicapped for the price of a meal?
Looks to me like your corner is bright enough already, friend.
He's a drifter. He lost all his money in a card game the day he hit town. He's been on a toot ever since.
Here you are.
Gratitude, eternal gratitude. Heaven will reward you.
It's on me.
Thank you.
You sure set people talking, don't you?
Not me. It's my prisoner.
Brave and modest, too. I like that. Tell me, what's Denver like?
It's down.
I've no idea what this place can be like. The sun comes up in the morning, bakes the heart out of you all day, and then sets. Comes up, then sets, nothing else.
Why don't you leave?
Got nowhere to go. I figured when Sam asked me to come out here and marry him, I was onto something good. I didn't know he was as poor as a desert lizard and working for peanuts. Given him every chance to make the best of himself. I'm not going to give him much longer.
I figured this is what I'd find you doing.
I thought you were watching Reeger.
My deputy's guarding him.
Akins, you don't seem to understand.
Ed Billy's sitting over there with a scattergun across his knees. Rieger so much as sneezes, he'll get a face full of buckshot.
Yeah, well, all the same. I enjoyed you, Captain.
I saw you drooling over him.
So?
Flo, I'm warning you.
Let go of my arms, Sam.
I didn't tell you about this time I got away in Texas, did I?
No, but you will.
Well, you see, they had a jail.
Everything all right?
Sure, Mr. Smith.
Look, why don't you go to bed, Smith? Now, him and me getting to be real buddies.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Don't shoot, I give up. May I come in?
Looks like you already have. You know, ordinarily folks knock.
Yeah. I didn't want anyone to know I was here.
Why are you here?
Don't you know?
Well, you know, being a detective, I guess I'm just naturally suspicious.
I just wanted to make the town hero welcome.
I appreciate your hospitality, but I'm not so sure Akins would.
You know, I can just barely remember him. What was it?
I don't know. It sounded like it came from the jail. What is it? Akins!
I shot him. I shot Hemp Reeger.
All right. Isn't exactly anything to look at. Now clear out of here. Scattergun. Did you have to use that?
I was alone. Ed Philly'd gone. I wanted to be careful.
Nobody asked you to tear him to pieces.
He surprised me. He jumped me. He was all bent over double, moaning like he had a terrible cramp. I thought I should take a look. He was faking. He threw that stool at me. And he went for the wall and grabbed that gun. I had to shoot him.
There's nothing more for me to do around here now. I don't think I'll get any more sleep tonight. I guess we'll head on back to Denver.
I know this isn't the way you wanted to turn out, Smith, but believe me, there's nothing else I could have done. Oh, you'll see if the reward gets to me. Well, I mean, you captured him, but I kept him from getting away. I think that entitles me to something, wouldn't you say?
No question about it. I'll see you, Sheriff.
Goodbye, Smith.
Oh, he lets me lock up the drunks. But when there's a reward, I'm home in bed before the excitement starts.
Say, how did that stupid drifter take the excitement, Sheriff, huh?
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't around that long. I yanked him out of his cell, and I pointed his nose north on Main Street. Straight ahead of you, I said, that's Wyoming. Now, you start walking till you get to Cheyenne, and don't you stop. You should have seen him go. Hey, Roy, buy everybody around on me. I think I can afford it now.
Right, Sam.
Well, thank you.
Yes, Flo, I can afford a lot of things now, including the finest wedding this town's ever seen. How does that sound?
It sounds just like you, Sam.
Hi, John. All right, Reeger. It's time for you to show me where the silver's hid. You'll take me to it and hightail it to Mexico free as a bird. I gave you a break. Now you're going to pay me for it. Because if you don't, Reeger, I'll kill you. You're dead anyway. As soon as Smith reports to Denver.
Hold it, Reeger. Now what's the matter?
You're not going to be able to recognize you any better than they did that drifter.
What are you talking about?
You've been leading me over these mountains all day long.
Oh, it was a long way.
How much longer?
Oh, maybe an hour. Look, I'm going to lead you to it. I don't want to get killed just for a pile of silver.
You got 1 hour. If you're not there by then, you're a dead man.
Let's get going.
Is this the place?
Yeah, there's a stream down there.
The silver's in the water?
That's right.
Get down. Now show me.
He's right in there.
Get it. That's all right.
Well, don't you want me to get the rest of it?
I'll take care of that little chore. Get up. Get over that tree. Go ahead. Now stand there. Put your arm around that limb. Hurry up. Put that cuff back on your wrist. Let me see it. Turn around.
What about that trip to Mexico?
Turn around.
What's the matter? Ain't you got the nerve to shoot another man in the face? Throw it away. You didn't think I'd tumble for the body of that drifter you murdered back in town, did you? Turn around. I want you, Akins. Bad. You're not fit to wear that badge. You're not even fit to live. Well, never thought I'd be glad to see you, Smith. That is a switch, isn't it? How'd you know to follow us? Take a look at your wrist. Those cuff marks? The old drifter he shot hadn't been wearing any handcuffs lately. Let's go.
On your feet, Akins. We're going back to Galeyville.
No, Smith, you wouldn't.
Leave it on. I want the people down there to see what kind of a man they put behind that badge. Come on.
There was some satisfaction to lighten the long ride back. I had Reeger and the Watkins family would get that reward money after all. But in Galeyville, an innocent man lay dead. Who could have guessed when I gave him a handout he was soon to die? Victim of a ruthless man's greed and a girl's hopeless ambition. Get down. You too, Reeger.
not hasten to bid me adieu. Just... All right.
What are you doing in here? Why don't you home resting that wing while you got a chance?
Well, it's not that I miss the place. I just don't see how you'd get along without me.
Hank, see if Smitty's in yet.
Yeah, I'm here, Chief. Romac's here, too.
Romac?
Morning, Chief. You're looking mighty chipper this morning.
Come in, boys.
He was to the mayor's house last night to one of them functions.
Oh, no. That mayor's wife can think up more tomfoolery to keep us busy.
Sit down.
If you don't mind, Chief, I'll just stand.
Mrs. Richards and I attended a party at Mayor Adams' home last night.
We heard about it.
A decision was reached to promote a civic betterment program.
Civic betterment? What's that?
George, you know what civic betterment is.
No.
Remember those bird baths the mayor's wife had put in? We got the cleanest birds in Colorado Territory.
But the birds never used them.
Never mind that. A statue is to be erected to honor Colonel Slough.
Who?
Colonel Slough. He led the forces of the 1st Colorado to victory at the Battle of Pigeons Ranch.
Chief, how do we fit into this? I can't even whittle too good.
You don't have to make the statue. The Denver Theatrical Group plans to run a play to raise the money. Now, all the city employees are going to be 100% behind this program. I promise full cooperation from this department.
I'd say that was downright generous of you, Chief.
Now, why don't you boys run over to the mayor's home? Mrs. Adams will tell you what she wants done.
Hank? Jim? They must have heard him. Well, George, looks like it's up to you.
Oh, no, Smitty. Why, you're such a smooth talker with those high-class females, I wouldn't know what to say.
Well, they'll do the talking.
Oh, but you wouldn't want to pick on a poor, helpless invalid like me, would you, Smitty?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, George. I'll flip you for it.
Well, all right.
Call it.
Flip it first. Tails.
Best 2 out of 3?
Gwine to run all night, gwine to run all day. I bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. All the mayor's wife sing this song, doo-dah, doo-dah. Little old Smitty goes running along, all doo-dah day. He's gwine to run all night, gwine to run all day. I bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay.
Adams was just leaving for his office as I rode up. Our mayor's not a bad sort as politicians go, but somehow he gave you the feeling that you're just another X after his name on the ballot. Mrs. Adams gave me an order for the printer and the names of some of the other committee ladies to visit. This lady's aid work wasn't exactly my strong suit, but Mrs. Denton was in charge of putting on the play. The Dentons were our most influential citizens. Adams was the mayor of Denver, but Denton was the king.
Who shall I say is calling?
Mr. Smith.
Hello. How nice of you to want to come and help us. Thank you.
Well, Chief Richards deserves the thanks.
Oh. Hannah, has Mr. Denton come down yet? No, ma'am. He must still be in his room. Oh, well, would you ask him to join us in the library, please?
Of course.
Oh, excuse me. Hannah, Mr. Claude is returning from San Francisco this afternoon. I'm sure he'll have dinner with us. Would you ask Cook to make one of her Lord Baltimore cakes for him?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. It's his favorite dessert. He must have fallen asleep while he was working. Rex? Rex, darling?
Denton's dead.
His heart. The doctor warned him.
It wasn't his heart. He was murdered.
A thief.
What did he keep here?
Money. He always had money there.
Mr. Denton isn't in his...
Would you see Mr. Denton to a room, please, and send for the doctor?
Here's that rundown on the Denton property, Smitty.
Thank you, Hank.
3.
George, take a look at this. Cattle ranches, race horses, mines, hotels. Denton seemed to have his finger in about every big business in the West.
Who gets all that? The widow?
She'll make out all right, but his younger brother Claude gets control of the whole shooting match. George.
Yeah?
You ever remember seeing any white clay like this around here?
Can't say as I have, Smitty. Why?
It didn't get in that Denton house by itself.
Hey, look here. It fits my boot.
Unfortunately, it fit most any boot.
Oh.
Well, it's stagecoach.
There's the new head of the Denton Enterprises.
Quite a reception he's getting, too. Even Mayor Adams showed up.
It has fallen my sad duty to bring you tragic news. Denver has suffered a great loss.
What are you trying to tell me, Dan?
Mr. Denton, your brother was found in the library of his home this morning. Murdered.
Murdered? But who could...
We don't know. We're making a thorough investigation.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Sarah.
Claude. Oh, isn't it terrible about Rex? Oh.
I think I'll join the delegation.
You can rest assured, every effort is being made to apprehend the murderer, Mr. Denton. I've instructed Chief Richards to concentrate all of his resources on the case.
I know I can rely on you, Dan. I'll see you in the morning.
Thank you. Chief Richards.
Mr. Denton?
Hello, Smith.
I'm sorry about your brother.
A dreadful thing. And to think I was sleeping peacefully only 60 miles away. Poor fellow. Smith, I want everything possible done to find the man who did it.
We'll do everything we can.
Yes, the mayor assured me of that. Feel free to call on me for anything you need. Come, dear, I'll take you home.
Hello, Billy. Well, hi, Smitty. Rough trip?
No, smooth as silk. What's all this about old man Denton being murdered?
Yeah, last night.
Any idea who did it?
Not yet.
The devil news sure seemed to hit him hard. Last night he was laughing and happy, glad to be coming home.
You stayed over in Leadville last night, I suppose.
Of course, just like we always do at the Indian Head Hotel.
Passengers always eat there, don't they?
Oh, sure, best grub in town.
A rich fella like Denton.
I suppose he took supper in his room.
No, he out with the rest of us. Insisted on buying everybody around the drinks. He's a free spender. I guess he can afford it, though.
No question about that, Billy.
I want all these men brought in for questioning. Smitty?
Why?
We've got to do something. I know how you feel about Denton, but you've got nothing to go on.
What's your natural reaction when the first words out of a man's mouth is to tell you he has an iron-clad alibi?
I'm not trying to protect anybody, but you can't go around accusing a man of Claude Denton's standing without proof.
Not accusing, Chief. Questioning.
Bring those men in.
All right. But it's a waste of time. Come on, Hank.
I guess I shouldn't have blamed the chief. The mayor and the city council were on his neck, and Mayor Adams owed his office to Claude Denton. We were carrying out orders. What else could we do? But I was sure getting fed up with chasing a lot of two-bit hoodlums who had nothing to do with Rex Denton's murder. I knew where I should be looking, but I had to find a way to do it without getting the chief on my neck again.
Mr. Smith.
Oh, Mr. Smith, won't you come in?
I'm sorry if I'm intruding, but I was in the neighborhood and I wanted to show you these announcements.
Oh, no, not at all. That's very nice of you. Oh, I'm so glad you get Mr. Hamilton to appear for us.
He was glad to come.
With him in the play, it's just certain to be a success. Oh, dear, these last 3 weeks have been so trying. I don't know what I would have done without the play to keep my mind occupied. I'm so glad we decided to go on with it, Claude.
You're quite right, my dear. And now I must get back to the office. Oh, by the way, Smith, what's been happening with your investigation?
Don't worry about it, Mr. Denton. We'll catch up with him.
I'll let myself out, Sarah.
Mrs. Denton, I hope it won't upset you too much if I try to clear up a couple of points about your husband's murder.
Oh, no, not at all. Won't you sit down, Mr. Smith?
Did anyone besides you and your husband have a key to the house?
Yes, Hannah has a key. But the thief came through the window.
I don't think so. And there were only 3 keys.
Why, no. Claude has always had a key, of course.
Of course.
You're stubborn as a mule, aren't you?
I don't mean to be, Chief. But Claude Denton did benefit by his brother's death. And he did come up with that big alibi, unasked. And he did have a key to that house.
And he was in Leadville at the time of the murder. Smitty, he's got an airtight alibi. At least a dozen people in Leadville saw him have his supper, go up to his room, and come back down for breakfast the next morning.
Yeah. Come down to breakfast 10 hours later.
Are you trying to tell me that he could have ridden from Leadville to Denver and back again in one night? That's a good 120 miles. No horse could make that trip.
Anybody ever try?
What's your hurry, Sonny?
No hurry at all, old-timer. Say, tell me, who's got the best horses in Leadville?
Best horses in Leadville? Why, Cape Goodnight's got the best horses in the whole darn territory.
You sure about that?
Sure about that? Why, of course, everybody knows that.
I've heard of him. Where's he located?
Right around that corner yonder.
You got some fine horses, all right, Mr. Goodnight, but what I had in mind was something with a lot of speed and endurance. What about that sorrel gelding over there? Did I see you race him at the fair last fall?
I sure did. Runningest horse I ever owned. That is, till somebody got in here one night, took him, and rode him till he foundered.
That's too bad. When did that happen?
About 3 weeks ago now, I guess. Poor critter was nearly run to death. I've tried everything I can think of, but it hasn't helped him.
Settles in their feet, doesn't it? They're never the same again.
I always knew that old pony of yours had plenty early foot, Smitty, but I never knew he had that much about him.
All right, you got me convinced. But what have we got to base charges on? 2 pieces of mud and a tired horse in Leadville. We need some evidence that will stand up in court.
I know we don't have enough evidence for conviction, Chief, but we do know Claude Denton's the man we're after.
The first time you question Denton openly, he'll have the mayor kick me out of here, and you'll be one jump ahead of me. Gotta get the mayor on our side.
I thought of that. There's a get-together at Mrs. Denton's tonight to introduce J. Burton Hamilton. I wish you'd be there around 8, Chief. I think you might enjoy it.
Well, so delighted, sir. I think you've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamilton wanted all of you to see a scene from the play before we met.
Oh, how fortunate for us that he was able to come to Denver.
I understand we're indebted to this young man for that.
Yes. Mrs. Adams, shall we sit there?
Thank you.
There.
Oh, Mr. Denton, you remember that sorrel gelding of Good Nights that outrun your stallion at the fair last fall? He's ruined for life.
Oh?
I saw him when I rode over to Leadville today. Seems somebody stole him, rode him almost to death.
Too bad.
Yeah, it happened the same night your brother was killed.
Did you say you'd ridden to Leadville and back today, Tom?
That's right, sir.
I wouldn't have thought it possible.
Well, I had to keep moving.
Oh, Mr. Smith, what part of the play is this?
We're going to show you right now.
Oh, good.
Since we have no curtain, the play.
Father.
Tie that carefully, driver.
I want to thank you again for helping us out, Mr. Hamilton.
I was happy to be of service.
Boy, you were sure great. How'd you make yourself look so much like Denton, though?
Makeup is one of the most important tools in the actor's kit.
And you're certainly an artist with it.
Yeah, but that scheme you thought up to trap Denton wasn't so bad, Smitty.
Afraid I can't take credit for that scheme, George. Someone else thought of it first about... How long ago was it, Mr. Hamilton?
266 years, to be exact, Mr. Smith. Though I'm quite sure Mr. Shakespeare didn't write it for the benefit of the Denver Police Department.
The ladies of Denver lost interest in the play. And the old water trough still marks the spot where Colonel Sluff's statue was to have stood.